was evacuated to Shropshire from Liverpool in the war, and to go to Minsterley, which was a village 11 miles from the Shrewsbury, the county town, was this lovely train, and I've got fond memories of that train. You got on it at Shrewsbury and went out to Minsterley, and my granddad used to wheel. He didn't have a trolley or anything, but he'd wheel his wheelbarrow down to the Minsterley station, and everybody used to say, "Oh, is Barry coming home for the holiday?" Barry is my nickname, and they said, "Oh well, we'll be seeing her in the village shortly then," and it was lovely. So that's the first memory that I have of steam trains. Oh, my earliest memory of the trains was when we moved into here and the bungalow, and all the children along this road used to run up to the railway line at the back of their gardens to shout to the driver. They used to go along here every hour, and what I remember about is the 10 to the hour going at the back of our bungalow, and 10 past the hour coming out of Newport. And in the school holidays, all the children would run up onto the side of the line, and the drivers would hoot at them and wave at them. All the children loved it because a lot of our gardens were open, and it also told me about the time my husband would come home for lunch. He'd be home at 1 o'clock, and I thought, oh, there's a 10 to 1 hooter. I'll heat up the dinner now. It was lovely, and the drivers were very nice. And if you went into Newport station, you could go and talk to the drivers in the station. There's no sign of the trains now there. It's happy memories for me when I married my husband and came and lived on the island and found out there was a steam train here. Oh, I was thrilled to bits that it went past the back of our bungalow. My husband used to go down there with the Isle of Wight miniature trains, because he built a train for the boys to drive. He used to like going down there, especially when they opened the big new work places, because they could drive the engine into the train shed and work on it now. And he and my husband's father, they'd wander around there all day long, and I have to look at everything. My father-in-law was an engineer, and my husband was an ex-naval engineer, and so that was my life was around engineering. So I knew I would always have cars or trains around.
Is what controls forward and backward?
Where I was working part-time as a midwife, I didn't have all that much time to ride the trains, but when I was at home, I would look at, nowadays, the trees are very high, but they were only about 6 foot high. And you could see the passengers in the compartments, and they'd wave to you. If you waved to them, they'd wave back at you. But it's the hooting and the children that reminds me of it.
So I remember the steam railway and travelled on it on occasions. It was the way we got about. Not so much in the 50s, because by then buses were becoming more of a thing. But yes, I remember the steam railways as they were.
Yeah.
Didn't travel on every length of the line, but I remember the steam railways.
Yeah.
My family had a sawmill outside Newport, within sight of the Freshwater, Yarmouth and Newport line. And one of my early memories is my uncle, who was the engineer and sawyer in the sawmill, exchanging whistles with the locomotive on the Freshwater, Yarmouth and Newport line. That's a very early memory.
What was the stop over there and then the crematorium? Was a train stop?
Oh,
Or was
at
converted
the
to-
crematorium.
Yeah, that one.
Yes.
That used to be a train stop.
Yes, that was the one that Queen Victoria used to get off, and her carriage from Osborne House would pick her up. And so, apparently, everybody, when they saw the horse and the pony and trap coming along, I wasn't here then, they knew that Queen Victoria was either going back to Buckingham Palace or coming from Buckingham Palace, and that was the station. Of course, down near Ryde, it's the electric train runs the other side of the platform, and so you can go from Newport and get onto the electric train to take you down to the ferry. You've got the old and the modern. Well, I used to take you and Claire to the Santa Special, and you never knew where you were going, and but you were always pleased to go down there, and then Santa Claus would come and give you a present. You two girls really loved the trains. I used to love the trains as much as you did. Yes.
Thank you, Grandma. You're a star.
Oh.